Good evening, everyone. Happy Friday. Welcome to the Man Cave. It's Friday night once again. Uh, let's see here. Got brother Jeff down in Florida and my wife from the great upstairs. How is everybody tonight?
Doing
Great.
good.
It's Friday once again. I think I'm gonna have a drink. I think I'm gonna get into the Eagle Rare tonight. I've got a abundance of this stuff around here, so I'm gonna have some of this. Jeff, you drinking with us?
I'm drinking Eagle Rare with you, buddy.
Boy, I know Tanya's drinking because I heard the coffee grinder running upstairs.
It wasn't the
Tanya, what
coffee.
are you having tonight?
Well, sadly, you shouldn't program and try to fix iced coffee because you'll leave your milk on the counter for a couple of hours. So instead, behold the mango smoothie.
Oh, so we made. Oh, that wasn't coffee grinder. That was the
Blender.
Vitamix. Okay, okay. Well,
Indeed.
cheers, everybody. It's Friday. Brian,
Cheers.
glad you could join us. Well, Anthony, Eagle Rare, yes sir. Good stuff. Hank's with us. So yeah, a couple of things I want to talk about tonight after we get a few more people rolling through here. I'm going to make a couple of changes to the format, maybe. I've had quite a few people ask me on quite a few occasions about Friday night. Why do why do you do this on Friday night? I can't make it on Friday night. I got friends and family commitments on Friday night, and I understand that. I know it's difficult, and one of the things I want to try, probably starting next week, is we're going to try doing our live stream on Thursday nights at 8:30 instead of Friday nights, and see how that goes, and see if it has any impact on viewership or people that are able to join us live. I would like your feedback. Those of you who are here with us tonight, uh, do you have a problem with Thursday night? Uh, Let me know. I've asked this question a few times and I don't really get any feedback when I ask. I get very little feedback on time preferences for this. So next week we're going to move this to Thursday night. We're going to run it on Thursday nights for a while and see how that goes, uh, and see if it makes any difference in the people who can join us and who can't. So I know about how many people we have here on average on a typical Friday night. If it drops way off on Thursday night, then we'll go back to Friday. But I'm hoping Thursday night's more convenient for more people. So I don't want to get into Wednesday night because I know Wednesday night's a church night for a lot of people. And I know that's inconvenient for a lot of people. Monday nights don't work for me. And the only other night that would work at all for me would be Tuesday. And I'm not a fan of Tuesday night. So we'll see how Thursday night goes for a while, and we'll talk about we'll talk about it. And I'll bring this up again later on towards the end of the live stream to remind people or to let people know that might not have been able to join us right away. So if you have any feedback on that, please leave me a comment. Let me know. If you're having a drink with us, let me know what you're having to drink, and let me know where you're watching from tonight. So I look forward to Friday night bourbon. I really do. I got to try a new bourbon earlier this week, or new for me. Our good friend Stephen Hickey hooked me up with a bunch of good samples of stuff when we were together in Atlanta. I have a sample here of I don't know if that's going to show up on camera or not.
Nope.
It's Basil Hayden. Their basic 80 proof. It was pretty good, and I've got a whole line more here. Stephen and I have traded bourbon samples back and forth multiple times through the mail, and we've got these little 2-ounce bottles that we pass back and forth so we can taste each other's favorites. So, Eric, glad you could join us. Eric says Thursday's good. Peter says he'll tune in whenever he can. That's awesome. So, yep. All right, Tanya, we're going to bring you back here a little bit later. Jeff has been in the mountains all week, so he hadn't been doing a whole lot of cooking this week, right?
Nope. Haven't done
Did you,
any cooking.
did you just get back home today?
Yeah. Got home at around noon.
Yeah. Okay. So you had a nice relaxing week. You were up there a week, the whole week,
Yep.
weren't you? Okay.
Yep. Kicked back, relaxed, went down the lazy river in Helen and caught a lot of fish over in Big Canoe.
I
Had a
saw
good
the
time.
trout. I saw the trout pictures. Those look good. So Tanqueray and Tonic, New Hampshire. Awesome. The great northern states. Okay. I did a good bit of cooking this week. Uh, let's see here. Let me bring up a couple pictures. One of the first things I got done this week. Yes, Scott, Terrace Major is an amazing cut. I've got one in my freezer. I've cooked. I've done several videos on Terrace Major. You're going to like that. So if you've got it already, uh, cook it just like you would a steak. I like to sear mine. They're really small, so you have to be careful with them, not to overcook them. they're like they're about the same size as a pork tenderloin, maybe even a little smaller. So yeah, season that thing up and cook it like a steak, and you're going to be amazed. No, Stephen, I already had the Basil Hayden. I'm having Eagle Rare tonight. I was just telling these guys about the samples you gave me. I've got, let's see, let me just read them off here. Chattanooga whiskey, it's a 91 proof.
That's good stuff
Teeling,
there.
Teeling Irish whiskey. Bullet, Bullet 95 rye, or does that say 95? Suntory Toki, Red Breast Irish whiskey. Davidson's Reserve, Dickel Barrel Select. I'm looking forward to trying that one for sure. The Bernheim Original Wheat Whiskey, uh, Duke 5-year bourbon. That's what I've got from Steven that I haven't tried yet. I've got a bunch of them to go through, so it's going to take me a
John,
while.
try that Chattanooga next. You're gonna like that.
Okay, Chattanooga. Yeah, it's the next one in line. It's a 91 proof.
It's good stuff.
Okay, so yeah, Mike, glad you could join us. This week, I got my cooking kicked off this week. I tried something I haven't done before. I don't remember if I did this. Did I do this week or was this late last week? Hell, I don't remember now. I
I
made
think it
some
was late
rye.
last week.
Was it? I made some rye bread. Did I talk about rye bread last week?
Not on the thing, but you're talking about it to Janice offline.
Okay. Well, this is the first time I've made rye bread from scratch that wasn't a bread machine recipe. So it's a new experience for me. I'm pretty good with bread doughs. I've made a lot of breads. Jeff, you know how much time we spent during the
Yep.
pandemic doing bread stuff, but this one was a new experience for me. This I pulled this recipe off of the King Arthur website. It was the one of the more common looking ones. I thought that wouldn't be very complicated, but it turned out to be a really wet and sticky dough, which it said it was going to be. So I said, that's not a problem. I'm used to dealing with wet doughs. I know how to deal with wet doughs, but the variable here that I haven't dealt with before is rye flour. And rye flour doesn't absorb water as well or as quickly as the wheat flours do, the regular wheat flours. So this dough, I was originally going to bake it in a hand shaped oblong loaf on a sheet pan, but I could not get the gluten structure like it was supposed to be where it would hold its shape after I shaped it for the bench rest. So I ended up moving it to a loaf pan and letting it rise again in the loaf pan. And luckily, it had enough steam to rise again. So I let it rise up like this in my loaf pan, and then I tossed it in the oven and baked it. And it came out really well. And these are those Lodge cast iron loaf pans, and these things make beautiful loaves of bread. Look at that. It's perfectly cooked all the way around. And here's what the bottom side of it looks like. And slice that guy open. It's got a nice crumb, a nice texture. It's a really nice rye bread. It tastes good. Tanya and I both made some toast with it and whatnot, and I put more caraway seed in it than the average person would, just because I like a lot of caraway in my rye. Do you like rye bread, Jeff?
Yep, I like a lot of caraway in. The only thing that I would have done different with that is throw some more caraway on top before you baked it.
Well, I thought about doing that, but I don't know if you can see it. Uh, there's a bunch of it there actually, just from because of how much I put in the loaf. I think I put I think I put 2 tablespoons of caraway in this loaf, which in a normal situation it might have had 1 tablespoon in
Yeah,
it. But yeah, I could have put some across the top. That wouldn't have been a bad idea. But this loaf was good.
looks good.
It did, yeah, it did really well. I will try it again, and I think the next time I try it, I'm probably going to try to prehydrate my rye flour.
Well, John, the next time you try it, you need to add a cook on the side, and that would be your pastrami. Because I mean, if you're going to
Yeah.
make rye, you may as well have the pastrami to go with it.
Well, I'm out of pastrami. I don't have any, so I guess I do need to make some more. Next time I find a reasonable price on a brisket flat, I'll buy one, and I'll make another round of pastrami. And Tom, I confiscated that bread knife long enough to make that picture, and it's already moved back to its rightful place. Uh,
I was going to say that.
yeah, it's back upstairs. It's back up in Tanya's knife block. I just like I said, I just got to see it long enough to do this loaf because I don't have a bread knife. This is the only bread knife in the house. So
Yeah, Eric, that'd be good too. A patty melt. Absolutely.
yeah, it would. But man, it's hard to beat a Reuben. I'm with you, Jeff. And what I'm thinking about doing, I might try to do this summer, is make another homemade um, sauerkraut. I don't know if I want to do that or not. I've played with that, but there's some sauerkrauts I can buy at the grocery store that are every bit as good as anything I can make. So
Yeah.
we'll see. One of the things I wanted, the bookshelf. I told you we'd talk about my bookshelf tonight. In my man cave, reorganization and deep cleaning that's been going on, that just wrapped up today, actually, pretty much almost wrapped up today. I decided I wanted to put a bookshelf down here where I can keep all my cookbooks together. And this is basically all of my cookbooks. There's a couple that aren't on the shelf at the moment. They're upstairs, but this is a majority of the cookbooks I have. And I wanted to talk about a couple of them here. I haven't talked about books in a while, but up on my top shelf here, this book over on the far left, this one called The Food Lab by J. Kenzie Lopez Alt, Kenji Lopez Alt, is at or near the top of my list as a must-have cookbook for anybody for anything. This book, one of the things when it comes to me and cookbooks anymore, I don't look for cookbooks that necessarily have great recipes in them. And most good cookbooks do have great recipes in them, but I don't buy a cookbook anymore that is not going to teach me something besides a recipe. And for those of you who know who Kenji is, he's a lot like Alton Brown. You know, he not only teaches great cooking, he teaches you why. And that's an important lesson with anything because anybody, well, I won't say anybody, but most people can follow a recipe if they put their mind to it. But have you learned anything by following that recipe? You learn that recipe from repetitive motion, but do you understand why things happen the way they did? This book, The Food Lab, tells you why these things happen. And when you learn why these things happen, you can apply it to everything else you know about cooking. and you eventually come to a point in your cooking career where the recipes no longer become necessary. You know enough about the cooking methods that you can cook without recipes, and that's another big reason that I like the online classes that I bought a while back from Chef Todd Moore, the webcookingclasses.com program that teaches methods, and learning the methods helps free you from a recipe. And then once you learn the methods, becoming a great cook is just building experience after you've learned the methods. And this book right here is a good book to have for that very reason. It teaches you why things work. So it's another good one. In the Meathead book here, if I was a barbecue and grilling enthusiast, and I could only have one book, this is the one to have. This Meathead Goldwyn's The Science of Great Barbecue and Grilling. That's the one book to have. So yeah, Cindy says Michael Simon teaches technique. We're going to see one of his books on my shelf here in a minute. I've got one of his books here, but this book, The Professional Chef, is a reference book that's also got a lot of great recipes in it. But this is the course textbook from the Culinary Institute of the Arts. It's what a lot of professionally trained chefs carry through school with them for a couple of years while they're learning to be professionally trained chefs. This book has a lot of great resources in it. If you want to know how to do something related to cooking, this book's got it. This book teaches. I can't think of anything I haven't been able to find an answer to. If I was looking for an answer on how to do something, this book's where I go. These home brewing books are just holding some space. They're not going to stay in there. But if you ever want to learn to home brew your own beer, these two books right here have everything you need to know, and then some. What else is on this shelf that's important? Joshua Weissman. Joshua is one of my favorite YouTubers, and I've got two favorite foodie YouTubers, and he's one of them. Uh, so if you want to see some great stuff and learn something about cooking, that guy's a great teacher as well. He doesn't do much barbecue and grilling, but he's entertaining. He's fun to listen to, and he does some great stuff that you can do in your everyday cooking. Um, I've got another favorite YouTuber who I have his cookbook also, but I have misplaced it at the moment. I'm not sure where it is. I'm gonna have to find it. It's Alex, and he on YouTube he goes as Alex French Guy Cooking. He's amazing. I bought his cookbook when he put a book out, but I've misplaced it at the moment. I don't know exactly where it is, but it'll turn up and it'll find its way onto this shelf right beside this one. The Flavor Bible is another book that I think is important to have, especially if you're learning cooking methods rather than learning recipes, because one of the things, once you learn all the methods, part of learning to put good dishes together is understanding what flavors work well together. And this is the go-to reference book to figure out what flavors work well together, or how to get a specific flavor. Like if you want a regional cuisine, like if you want Southwestern USA, if you want North African, if you want Mediterranean, if you want, I don't know, Cuban, if you want Jamaican, if you want flavors that are regionally Indian, various regions of India, this book tells you what spice combinations go together to make that flavor. It's a great reference tool if you don't know, what seasonings and what spices you need to come up with that flavor profile. This book is the go-to for that. This is another book by Kenji, The Wok. I just bought this recently, and I haven't spent a lot of time in this book yet, so I can't really talk too intelligently about it. Those are the major players on my top shelf. Down on my middle shelf, this Modernist Cuisine stuff is crazy. It's really high-end cookbook stuff, and these books are also expensive, but this is another set of cookbooks that teaches some stuff about cooking techniques, but these techniques are not your common everyday techniques. There's a lot of, they call it modernist cuisine because it's exactly that. It's a new way of looking at a lot of cooking techniques. And I had some Amazon credit burning a hole in my pocket one time, and that's why I bought this pizza set. It's a 3 book set, and I've been thumbing through a lot of that. I haven't started digging deeply into this, but I've been through all of these books, and there is some really incredible recipe techniques in these books that I'm going to get going here really soon. Uh, this book, The Elements of Pizza by Ken Forkish, is one that if you want to up your pizza game, that is one of the books I think you need to have on your shelf. Uh, the next 2 books here, The Mastering Pizza is pretty good. I'd give it a B on an A to F scale. The Pizza Bible is another really good book with a lot of great recipe and technique information in it. So those 2 or 3 books right there are all anybody would ever need if you want to really take your pizza game up a few levels. If you're into baking, like my wife and I are, this King Arthur Flour Baker's Companion is like, I would say this is the equivalent to Kenji's Food Lab, but for baking, specifically baking. This book is full of great recipes and great information. I have 2 copies accidentally of this Flour, Water, Salt, Yeast, which is another Ken Forkish book. It's the same guy that did The Elements of Pizza. The Elements of Pizza actually came after Flour, Water, Salt, Yeast. But if you want to learn artisan bread baking, this Flour, Water, Salt, Yeast is a great place to start. Uh, the Bread Breaker's Apprentice is a Reinhardt book. It's pretty good. I'm not as big a fan of it as I am Flour, Water, Salt, Yeast. I bought Tartine Bread on a recommendation from somebody else. It's very good, but I don't think Tartine Bread is a beginner's level book. It's not one I would start with. It'd be one I would go to after I was comfortable with my bread baking game. I've got another bread baking book that's not on my shelf here yet. It's upstairs somewhere also. It's called Josie Baker Bread. It is a fantastic beginner's level book on artisan bread baking, and I wish I really had gotten it on the shelf, but it's a good one to have. That's all that I think is important. Well, out here on the end, I've got this Michael Ruhlman book called Ratio. This book teaches, I don't know if I want to call it a method or if I want to call it a recipe strategy. This book teaches you, it's a lot about making a lot of things based on ingredient ratios where you don't have to know specific quantities and measurements. It teaches you about baking and a lot of cooking type things that all you need to know is the ratio of ingredients, and then you can put it all together. It's a really interesting read, or a thumb through more or less. And when you see something you're interested in making, you stop on that one and try to understand the ratios they're talking about. It's pretty neat. The bottom shelf. Uh, I don't think I have anything stuffed down here on my bottom shelf. Well, there's a couple down here that I think are really great books. Um, let's see. Franklin Barbecue and Franklin Steak. Uh, those books, I enjoyed reading both of those. I read both of those kind of cover to cover because the Franklin Barbecue book is like, I think he calls it a manifesto on the cover. It's Aaron Franklin's story about how he started and his philosophies on making barbecue. And if you're interested in understanding why Franklin does things the way he does, then this book's a good one to go through. You'll learn a lot about making brisket, definitely from that book. The Franklin Steak book, I was not such a fan of that book. It talks about how he makes steaks, and his techniques are fine, but I don't think there's anything groundbreaking in the way he makes his steaks. And if any of you have that book and disagree with me on that, let me know. I'd like to hear somebody else's feedback, somebody who knows how to make a good steak. I'd like to hear your feedback on whether or not you think that book has anything in it that's over the top. Uh, there's two other books on this shelf. This Charred and Scruffed and this Serious Barbecue by Adam Perry Lang. Those are two top notch books. Those books teach some technique that is well worth reading. But I think Serious Barbecue is one of these. Serious Barbecue is not a beginner's level book either. It's one that should be on your shelf probably, but it's not something you want to get into until you're pretty comfortable with everything else you're doing. And yeah, Cindy, the Playing with Fire, this Michael Simon book, I bought it when it came out. I'm a Michael Simon fan, and I've been a Michael Simon fan since he was on Iron Chef. He was one of my, he and Chef Morimoto were my two favorite Iron Chefs. Jeff, did you watch Iron Chef?
Yes, it did.
Did you have favorites?
Yes, Michael Simon and Morimoto.
Oh,
Matter of fact, we have Morimoto's restaurant out here at Disney Springs,
yeah.
and he makes some great killer beef ribs.
Well, Tanya and I went to Morimoto in Waikiki when we were in Florida. I mean, in Hawaii, and that was an experience. That was
Great
the first
food.
time Tanya actually tried some Japanese tuna, some raw tuna. She took a taste of it. I don't think she was a fan, but she did try it, and I was impressed. So the good news is I got to eat hers. We had
Darn the
surf.
bad luck.
Yeah, we had surf and turf, and it was off the hook. It was crazy. We'll talk to Tanya about our Morimoto experience when we bring her back in. But she and I both love Chef Morimoto. He's amazing, and the guy, it just never he never ceased to amaze me. He's an artist as well as a chef, and but Simon's a machine. He's a machine in the kitchen. He's not. I don't think any of the other Iron Chefs really can hold a candle to Michael Simon. And that's not to put down Bobby Flay, but I've never been a Bobby Flay fan. I tell you, I take that back. I did like Bobby Flay in the early days of the Food Network when he what was this show, that show he had with the woman that did the wine pairings for him, and I think they eventually married or something. You know the show I'm talking about, Jeff?
No, I'm not familiar with that one.
Oh boy, I can't think of what that show was called, but I kind of enjoyed it. I enjoyed some of that because Bobby stuck with the Southwest style stuff then, and that's what he did really well. So, but anyway, guys, that's what's on my bookshelf. If you're curious, I've got a lot of these. I bought some of these, and I get gifted cookbooks occasionally, and some of these were gifted to me. Uh, and some of these I bought because I know the author. I'm friends with the author. Like there's a Mastering the Big Green Egg here by Craig Tabor. You guys know Big Green Craig. I bought that. Exclusively Kamado by Paul Sidoriak. We had Paul on with us one night not too terribly long ago. The Kamado Smoker and Grill and Smoker Cookbook by Paul Grove. Uh, Greg Mervich. I have two copies of the American barbecue sauces uh, book that's got rubs and sausage stuff in it. I got one because I agreed to write uh, kind of a review of the book, but I bought one because I wanted to post the review on Amazon as a verified purchase. So, uh, Anthony, do you have that book, The Bacon 24/7? It's kind of a gimmick book in my opinion. It's got a lot of stuff you can do with bacon, and it's everything in it's obviously bacon centric. There's some neat stuff in there, but the reason I have that book is I bought that book on at Barnes and Noble. It was on like the $5 book rack. You know, if you ever go into Barnes and Noble, they've got the racks up near the front. They've got a $5 rack, a $7 rack, a $9 rack. That was a bargain book, and I bought it because I thought it'd be kind of. I looked through it and said, "There's some cool stuff in there." So I thought it'd be something good to have if I needed some cool ideas on something to do with bacon. So it's not a waste of money if that's what you're asking, but I wouldn't pay a lot for it.
John, you weren't
Uh,
talking about the Bobby and Giada in Italy show, were you?
It wasn't Giada. It was before
Okay.
Giada. This I want to say that woman's name was Jackie something or another. Let me bring Tanya. Tanya, who was that woman with Bobby Flay? She'll know.
No, I have no idea. I've watched a lot of Bobby Flay, but I don't recall that one.
Okay, it was early Bobby Flay on the early Food Network. So
Yeah,
I'll
no,
have to look that up. Okay,
sorry.
we'll bring you back. I don't remember what her name was. It was but she every time he would cook something and then she would do a wine pairing with it. And
I remember watching a couple of those. Now that I
yeah,
think about it,
I don't remember what her name was, or what the show's name was.
I wasn't a
Oh,
big fan of Bobby. I like Ming Tsai.
yeah, I used to watch that show East versus West, and
Yeah.
uh, he was actually one of the first chefs that got me fascinated with the possibility of knives that were better than average because he was pimping these Kyocera
Hmm.
ceramic knives on his
Yeah.
show. And luckily, I never bought a ceramic knife, but I used to see them around. Guys, I stumbled across this when I was renovating the man cave. I thought this thing was lost and gone forever. But what you're looking at here is something I wish was still available on the market today. This is a temperature control system that I bought for my Kamado. It was the second one I bought way back in the dark ages. This is a Barbecue Guru Party Cue. They don't make this anymore, and it's a shame that they don't because this thing is what I would call, by today's standards, minimalist. This thing is battery powered. It runs off of four AA batteries, so you don't have to have a power cord. I've got the Kamado adapter kit. I've got the Kamado adapter kit with it where it would fit in the lower vent of my Kamado. And you see here is an off on switch on this guy. There's an LCD and an up and a down button. And what you do is you turn that thing on and you tell it what temperature you want to run it at. You see here the temperature probe with an alligator clip. You put it in the grill, and all this thing does is runs your grill at whatever temperature you told it to run it at. And it works really well, and that's all it does. And if I remember correctly, when I bought that, I paid either $119 or $129 for it. Today, there's very when I posted about this earlier this week, somebody, I think Steven told me, Steven, if you're still with me, remind me of the name brand of the one that he posted is still available. And I remember seeing the one he posted about after he posted it, and I saw those, and the reason I bought this one instead of the one that Steven had showed me is this one was a lot more compact, and the other one had to hang on the front of your grill, and it had a big ugly hose that ran down to the lower vent. I just didn't like the looks of the one that was out there, but apparently that one is still available. I don't know what it costs, but marketing departments these days, guys, have you snowed? Well, I won't say snowed. This thing, the reason this was discontinued probably is because nobody would buy this today because everybody believes that you need Wi-Fi control, and they want to monitor meat temperatures as well, and this one won't do that. This one will only run your pit, and I really wish this thing still had a place in our cooking, but it just doesn't. One, I like the ability to monitor the meat temperature as well, but I would be perfectly happy. I've got enough experience under my belt now. I've been doing this long enough that I know about when the meat's going to become ready. I know when I need to start looking at it. I don't need a remote monitor to tell me when it's time to look at it. And I really think having this device available would put more people in temperature control systems than what it takes to get into it now. The fireboard, Jeff, I think to get into a minimalist entry on the fireboard system is about $250 for a controller.
Yep.
The basic fireboard system's 189, but that doesn't come with the fan. The I think the fireboard, if I remember correctly, the fireboard 2 drive is 189, and then you've got to have, I think it's a $59 fan, so it's 240 about to get into a basic fireboard, and that's pretty standard. I think the cheapest flame ball system uh, is somewhere in that neighborhood. I haven't looked at flame ball's pricing lately. Uh, the iCommand for people that are using what is the iCommand selling for, Jeff? Is it 229?
I think so.
Yeah, I don't. But there's nothing, not much in this price range anymore.
Yeah.
So
Get the whole fireboard set up. You're talking 265 now, John.
yeah, okay. The man cave. I haven't really showed you guys my man cave too much, but this is what my man cave kitchen looks like after the reorg. It's it's not huge, but I got this prep table. This prep table sitting where the bar that I'm sitting at now doing this live stream used to be sitting where this table is, and I've got these. I bought an additional wire rack shelf. I bought this big 5 rack one, and I bought another small one like the one in front of this window here. That's over to my left here now with even more stuff on it to keep everything to where I can get to it and where it's not so piled up. But that's my man cave kitchen. And on the other end, we have, this is where I am now. This is where I'm doing my live stream from. This used to be the den side, and I had a couple of recliners over here and a coffee table, and uh, here's that other wire rack shelf I bought. I had an old sofa over here that we got rid of also, and I put another rack there because I've got a lot of stuff. Even though I've got more stuff. I've got enough stuff to stock about 2 kitchens, but I use all of it. It's just there's I didn't I've got it. Everything that I've got here is there's nothing there I want to get rid of anymore. But this is the bar side now, and this is where I'm doing the live stream. This French doors out here open up to the backyard and to my deck where all my grills are. So just if you were ever curious what the man cave looks like. Yeah, Anthony, there's some 10K bibs in there too. So yeah. Okay, another thing I did this week, Tanya loves my blueberry muffins, and I got my first haul of blueberries this week, and I got enough to make some blueberry muffins. So I think I published this is on the Man Cave Meals page on Facebook if you want to look at it. But this is the recipe, and these are some of my home harvested blueberries. So I whipped up a batch of my blueberry muffins and cooked them, and they're delicious. They're absolutely crazy. Tanya, are those any good?
Let me just say this much. There are things that John makes that I really, really, really love, like, the hot dogs with the pimento cheese and the green chili. These blueberry muffins are fabulous, and I was so hungry that day because I've been so busy. I hadn't had time for anything. I'd had a busy morning. I was in class, and I smell this just wonderful aroma coming up. I'm like, oh my God, is he making blueberry muffins? Then he brings a blueberry muffin up to me. Oh my Lord. Then I had to have another one because, I couldn't tell if the first one tasted good.
Get them while they're hot, right?
Oh, they're just wonderful.
Yep. I want to talk a brief moment about cast iron this week. I decided to make the Lodge Black Lock cast iron the Atlanta Grill Company Gadget of the Month. Atlanta Grill Company has the entire line of Lodge cast iron, but they recently picked up the new Black Lock line. And these Black Lock pans are manufactured to a little different spec. It's an older style pan than the modern lodge stuff. And this is the only one of these pans I have so far. This is a 12-inch skillet, and I absolutely love this pan. It's got this really heavy triple layer seasoning on it. It's far better than any seasoning I've ever gotten from a factory on any piece of cast iron I've ever bought. This thing's ready to go right out of the package, and you don't have to do anything to it. I I've never bought any cast iron that I didn't feel like I needed some additional seasoning on it before I cooked on it, but at these you don't. This pan is this 12-inch pan is a little lighter weight than the standard modern lodge pan. It's you can feel the difference. The iron's a little thinner, and I like that because it's easier to handle and it heats up faster and it has all the same great cooking properties as cast iron because of that. But these pans are really well made. Uh, this is what the backside of it looks like. So these are made here in the USA, and this in their South Pittsburgh Forge or whatever it's called. So uh, it's a really great quality pan. And if you're interested in cast iron and want something better than average, but something that won't break the bank, like the Finex stuff or the Smithy, have a look at these pans. I think you'll really like these, and I think I'm going to get a couple more of these. I've cooked on this one enough that I think I'd like to have a few more pieces of this, and I think Atlanta Grill Company has the entire line of these. There's not a whole lot in this line, but you can look and see what's available if you're interested in that sort of pan. And while I was thinking about this pan, I've got this other pan I want to show you. I may have showed you guys this before. I can't remember if I did or not. This is called Grizzly. This is a 10-inch cast iron pan. Uh, and I think Grizzly only makes 3 or 4 different pieces. They've got a 10-inch pan like this 10-inch pan. They've got a 12-inch pan just like it. And they've got a 10-inch pan that's got the short handle on both sides. These things are hard to get. It seems like every time I go to the Grizzly website, I think it's called grizzlycookware.com, if I'm not mistaken. And I think they're based here in North Carolina. But what you see here is nickel plated cast iron. And this pan's not cheap. I think I paid $175 for that pan. It's not an inexpensive pan, but it has all the amazing cooking properties of cast iron and all the resistance of something that's stainless steel. This is nickel plated. You can put this in the dishwasher. You don't have to season it. Uh, what I don't really know, this pan, I've not had any problems with stuff sticking in this pan, but I don't know if it would ever get the the seasoning and great non-stick properties that regular cast iron would get because this thing doesn't, the seasoning just won't, you can't really season something that's nickel plated. It doesn't take a seasoning. But like I said, this pan, I've not had any issues with stuff sticking in it. And I haven't cooked in this pan as much as I should have. I've probably cooked maybe 15 or 20 times in this pan. And I haven't run it through the dishwasher, but I just wash it with soap and water and towel dry it and put it away. So it's just something different. I don't know if anybody's even aware that there's nickel plated cast iron out there. I think this may be the only company that's doing this at the moment, but it's interesting. Jeff, have you ever seen these before?
Yes, I have.
But this pan's also heavy. This pan's heavier than any other 10-inch cast iron pan I've had. I think this pan weighs 7 or 8 pounds. It's probably a good 2 pounds heavier than any other 10-inch cast iron pan I've got. It's a beast. That's the first thing I noticed about it's how heavy it is. If you want a really heavy pan, then that's the one. So on the wings, I think I posted this on the Man Cave Meals page earlier this week also. Seasoned flour, and I did a little write-up with it. one of the things I've learned with Chef Todd Moore and the online or webcookingclasses.com is adding flavor when you can. Anytime you're going to add an ingredient to a dish, it needs to play a flavor role if it can. And one of the things I see a lot of people do with wings, and I'm sure a lot of you here do this, is I see a lot of people, since we're cooking on grills rather than the way wings are supposed to be cooked, which is deep fried, we're trying to get those wings crispy, and we're doing a lot of things to help get crisp. And I see a lot of people say just toss them in cornstarch, just toss them in corn. I can't make myself do cornstarch. Cornstarch, I don't know. Maybe I'll try it sometime. Jeff, have you done cornstarch on wings?
No,
Yeah.
um, it's not something that I'm going to say I would want to do. I understand why people are putting cornstarch on it because cornstarch is going to suck up every little bit of moisture it can possibly get on. So,
Well,
but
answer this for me
it's
then.
not my
Would
deal.
would cornstarch be any better at that than flour?
I think it would because it's a finer.
Well, so let me think about this for a minute. We're trying to dry the wing out. So if I take my wings, I buy whole wings, so I chop the tips off, then I split the drumette and the flat, and then I take a paper towel and hand dry them as best I can to start
Yep.
with. So if I've done that, is there going to be a tangible advantage to cornstarch over flour?
I don't think so at that point. But
So,
the only way to tell for sure is do one in cornstarch, do one in
okay,
flour, and
all right. At any rate, whether you want to use cornstarch or whether you want to use flour, I think you need to season that. I think you need to put flavor onto the wing when you do this. And what I've done here is I'm making a seasoned flour. I'm using all-purpose flour, salt, black pepper, paprika, ground mustard, granulated garlic, granulated onion, and thyme. That's what I want to toss my wing in. And the flour, what happens here? The flour does absorb some moisture. But also before I toss my wings in this, I toss my wings in a little bit of oil, and then I wipe that off as well, where I've just got a thin smear of oil left for this to help make my flour adhere. Sometimes I can get my wings dry enough that the flour, and I'm assuming the cornstarch as well, wouldn't even want to adhere well, but the oil helps that adhere, and the oil also, the flour absorbs that oil, and as that heats up, it gives you that crunch. It's part of how you get that crunchiness, and we're going to look at that here in a minute. So I just take that and I mix it up, and that's what I dredge my wings in. I buy whole wings. I don't buy the I don't pay somebody else to do this step for me. It's cheaper. I think it's cheaper. I haven't actually compared prices lately to buy the whole wings. And if you make your own chicken stock, save those wing tips for your stock. But
it is cheaper.
the knife, you can run the knife down between the drumette and the flat and find the joint. You're not cutting through bone, and it'll slide right through that joint and open these guys up. So I tossed them. I told you, like I said, I dried them off with a paper towel, tossed them in a little oil, rubbed that down, and then I dredged these guys in my flour and I put them on this pan on a wire rack, and then I tossed them in the bark. I ran the bark at 450. I ran it as hot as it would go, and uh, close to the time I was going to be done with these, I put some of this Atlanta Grill Company Home Team wing sauce in one of my little Lodge cast iron saucepans and put it on the grill to heat that sauce up. If you're going to sauce your wings, you don't want to sauce your wings with cold or room temperature sauce. You want the sauce to be hot because it'll suck, cold sauce will suck the heat right out of your wings. So here's what I've got on my wings after about 40 or 45 minutes in there. And I can't show you crispy unless can you look at that and see that I have a crisp texture on the outside of those wings?
To me, it looks crispy.
Yeah, I can't show it in the photograph, but I made video. This video will post tomorrow. Um, so here we go. I don't know if you can see it any better there. I've got about as crisp as you can come up with, short of an egg wash and then a flour dip. That's another possibility, Jeff, that you can do to turn these into something crispy. I have not tried that. Now that I'm thinking about that, I'm wondering, do I need to turn this into oven fried chicken by using the egg wash, Jeff? That'll make them crispy.
I'll definitely make it crispy.
Yeah, it'll give you like Colonel Sanders chicken. But so what I did here, I put these in my mixing bowl, and I don't have the photograph of that. I put them in a mixing bowl and put my sauce in there and tossed the wings in the sauce. And then I used some of the Atlanta Grill Company ranch wing zing and shook it on these as well to finish these off. So this is the wings I ended up with, and they were really good. They were really delicious wings. So that's I've done wings this way quite a few times, and it's my favorite way to do wings. I don't like to sauce my wings, but I did it for this video because I wanted to use the Atlanta. That's our sauce of the month. This month is the Home Team wing sauce, and it's a very good. That sauce is a buffalo sauce. If you're familiar with buffalo sauce, the cayenne pepper and butter, that's the flavor profile you get out of this sauce. And in my opinion, this sauce has the perfect heat level. I don't like really hot sauces, and this one's not really hot. I could eat wings sauced in this stuff all day long. Tanya and I had dinner tonight. I decided to make enchiladas. So, and guys, this enchilada recipe, I'm just going to tell you up front, it's a Betty Crocker easy enchilada recipe, and they're delicious. You just brown some ground beef, put in some enchilada sauce, some diced green chilies, roll it up in some flour tortillas with a little bit of cheese, put some more enchilada sauce on top, put some more cheese on top, and then put them in the oven. And that's what you end up with. Tanya, were those good? Tanya's speaker mic's not on.
Sorry, those were delicious. Lily's purring, so I had put the mic on mute.
Yeah, but that's the extent of the cooking here at the man cave this week. So, where am I? I haven't been able to follow the comments. Yeah, Beth says she puts wings on the rack in the refrigerator. That's a good way to get them to help dry them out. I think Jeff, now that this has come up, I think it's time to try egg wash. I think I'm going to do that. I don't see why we shouldn't.
Go for it. I mean, I'm going to tell you, John, I'm quite satisfied with taking my wings out, patting them dry, throw them in the refrigerator for an hour, and doing them on the
Yep.
pellet grill at 450, and they come out just the way I like them.
Well, I am too, but
When I say pellet grill, we're talking about the Kamado, the pellet joe.
everybody, every time chicken is talked about, when it comes to cooking chicken, skin on chicken anyway, on a Kamado or on any kind of grill, everybody says, was it crispy? Was the skin crispy? Was the skin crispy? It's like a broken record. And it is a nightmare, difficult task to get crispy chicken skin at all on a grill. And I think that there must be a lower bar for crispy when it comes to grills than what I think of when I think of crispy. When I think of crispy chicken, I think of Colonel Sanders. I think of hearing a crunch when I take a bite out of that chicken. And it's really hard to get that on a grill because grills.
I don't think you're gonna accomplish getting that quality of crunch on a grill versus deep fried. I mean, let's just be honest. I don't think you're gonna get.
Yeah,
I think the closest you're going to get is with the pellet Joe going, like I say, 450. You
Yeah.
get a pretty decent crunch.
I'm going to take Anthony's question here. First of all, Jeff, have you done rotisserie wings in the basket?
Nope, because say I like doing them on the pellet Joe. That's my go-to method.
All right. I have a very unpopular opinion on rotisserie basket chicken wings, and it's that I don't like doing them that way. I've done them. I've got the basket, and I played with that, and I was able to get a crispy outer skin on chicken wings in a basket, but it was not the best result I've ever done. The problem is there's the problem's multifold. The first problem is you can't get enough wings in the basket to if you put more than 2 or 2.5 pounds of wings in the basket, it takes too long to get the skin crisped up on them, and your chicken's way overcooked by the time they get there. So I tried it again with 2 or 2.5 pounds, and I was able to get them crispy at about 45 or 50 minutes. They were still cooked more than I wanted mine to be cooked. And the third problem with the basket is it doesn't matter what you put on the outside of those wings, it's coming off in the basket. And it's going to collect on the basket and it's going to fall into the grill. So putting cornstarch or flour or whatever you want on the outside of those wings, in my opinion, is a waste of time if you're going to put them in the basket. If you're going to put wings in the basket, all I would recommend doing is salting them first. Salt your wings and let them dry brine in the fridge for a couple hours in some salt. Then put them in the basket, cook them till you're happy with them, and then pull them out and do whatever you want to do because anything else that goes on that wing, the basket's going to take it off.
It's a waste of good spice.
I don't like the process, but let me tell you, there's a cult following of rotisserie basket wing people, and they love it. And I don't want to discourage you from doing what you love doing. If you love
Bless your heart.
it that way, do it. Just not my jam. And I'm not gonna tell you that your wings that you cook that way aren't good. If you like them, they're great. It's just not my favorite way to cook wings. So now I've got something else to try. I'm gonna try a light egg wash. I'm gonna see if I can make. I'm gonna see what I think I can. I don't know why I haven't thought to try this before, because that's how fried chicken's made. Southern crispy fried chicken is made by dredging the chicken in flour and then an egg wash and then dredging in the flour again. Uh, why not?
Run it up the flagpole. See who salutes it.
Well, Tanya won't eat it.
Nope.
Was
Well,
that an emphatic nope?
Nope. I love
As
chicken
Tanya would say,
flavor.
not her jam.
Yeah, Beth says totally there. Nope. I don't want chicken in any way, shape, and or form. Mm-mm.
I don't know the basket. I'm I don't know. I think the baskets. I got to figure out what I would do and do well in the basket because everybody does wings in the basket. I've seen people put veggies in the basket. Uh, what I'm thinking the basket might be cool for. You know how people like to do kebabs with cherry tomatoes, whole mushrooms, chunks of I don't know zucchini, split
Peppers, zucchinis, whatnot.
chicken, beef, shrimp. Why not put instead of putting it on skewers? Why not toss all that in oil and seasonings? Put that in the basket, and then as it's doing its thing, you can drizzle oil on the basket, and keep that thing going. I think it would be a I think it'd be cool to do a skewerless kebab party and do it all in the basket. I think that would be maybe that's something I need to do. Thoughts?
My big hiccup with the basket is it's not big enough to feed more than two people adequately.
Right.
So,
Yeah,
I
but
mean, if you got more than two people in your family that you're feeding,
yeah,
yeah,
and I don't know. You can stuff 5 pounds of wings in that basket, but if you put that much in there, there ain't much tumbling happening. There's not
no,
enough room in there for them to tumble.
And by the time the inside gets cooked, the outside is overcooked. So what did you accomplish?
Yeah, and I don't know, but like I said, that I think the Kamado Joe Tisserie and Wing Cooks have probably sold more rotisserie baskets than Napoleon has sold for their gas grills.
Yeah, I'd agree.
You know, that Joe Tisserie has had to be a boon for the Napoleon basket market. And Kamado Joe released that basket set that flopped because the powder coating comes off of it. Like, and I don't know if Kamado Joe's fixing that or if they're going to put something new out. I really loved the design on the Kamado Joe stuff. The fact that they made powder coated parts and all the powder coating comes off of it just like it does everything else that's powder coated, made them undesirable. And but the design is good, and I would really like to see those products come back because I like the flat basket especially. That
Mhm.
flat basket, well, I love that. And I'm really hoping that stuff's going to come back at some point, not powder coated, maybe stainless steel or even chrome
So
plated. I don't know why that couldn't be chrome plated steel. It doesn't have to be stainless. It just needs to be something that's not going to flake off into your food. So I really like those, and I'm really hoping that Kamado Joe's going to bring that back. So we'll see. I haven't asked anybody if anybody on the inside knows about whether or not I heard that it was coming back, but I don't know when or what. I'm guessing the pandemic probably slowed that down like it slowed everything else down. Maybe we'll see something next year. Uh, but yeah, there's a lot of possibilities. But yeah, the basket, the way I figure it is, you need if you had a bigger basket and we're doing it in a Big Joe, you could do a lot of wings. But if you're making wings for one or two people, then yeah, that basket's great. But if you got to make wings for a party, it ain't gonna cut it. That's why you need to go get a bark like mine and Jeff's. You could probably put 50 pounds of wings in that thing.
oh, at least.
We could put wings, and that's the medium sized one. If you had the 3600, man, oh, we put a
You put
lot.
100 pounds of wings on that 3600.
Yeah, I
Seriously, and you'd probably still have room left over.
Yeah. Well, even the classic, I don't know how many pounds of wings you could maybe put 7 pounds, 6 or 7 pounds of wings on the grate on an 18-inch grill.
Yeah, I would say that's probably close.
Wings are something I wouldn't stack. I would want my wings to be separated. I wouldn't stack wings, but if I was cooking wings for a crowd, I'm going to deep fry them. I'm going to put them in a deep fryer and get them all. I don't have to have everything I heat doesn't have to taste like smoke to be good. So look at that cat. That cat's rotten.
This cat is a perfect specimen.
All righty. So guys, those of you that might have joined us late at the beginning of the live stream, I talked about we're making some changes next week. Starting next week, we're going to live stream on Thursday nights instead of Friday and see how that goes because I've gotten a lot of comments from various people about Friday night just doesn't work for me. So we're gonna try Thursdays. We'll be back next Thursday at 8:30 p.m. And I don't know what our topic's going to be just yet, but I'll figure out something. I need to try to line up a couple of new guests. I had one that I've invited that I was hoping I could get to come on, but I haven't gotten a response, so I'm not expecting that. So I'll see if I can get somebody else to come on. If you guys know of anybody you'd like to see on, let me know who it is, and I'll see what I can do. Uh, I did invite Malcolm Reed to come on, but I did not get a response from them either. So I'd love to have Malcolm on. And if you know somebody uh, that would like to come on, or if any of you guys would like to come on and talk barbecue with us, let us know. I'll be happy to bring you in to the video stream to join me and Jeff and Tanya on a Friday or on a Thursday night starting
And
next.
Lily.
and Lily.
And Lily. Hey, maybe if we switch to Thursday, we can get Steven and Luca.
Well, Friday night's not the issue for Steven. And that's another thing. I do need to talk to I do believe I'm going to be able to get Michael Stone and uh, Freddie Jennings from Alpha. Get those guys on. Uh, they said they would like to come on, so I'll see if I can get that going too and have a pizza night. Talk about pizza and wood fired oven pizza specifically, and get those two on here. So I'll see what I'll send Michael a note and Freddie and see if they're good. Freddie said he just wanted to wait till the basketball tournament was over, which it is. So maybe we'll be able to get that going. Oh, that's okay, Ryan. Ryan's making lots of excuses these days, Jeff, for not showing up. Have you noticed that?
Yes, I have. I don't know what to say. Lame.
Buddy. Oh,
Oh,
by the way,
wow.
Ryan, thank you, sir. Yes, this bottle's courtesy of Mr. Ryan Lowry. Yep.
Ooh.
Well, dang, I'm jealous now.
I've had that bottle for a while, but I just recently opened the one that Ryan gave me. He gave me and Chef Eric Gephardt a bottle of Eagle Rare. Yep. Joe
We can
wants
do that.
outside the box sides and appetizers. Okay, that's a good. Joe, shoot me a private message and tell me what you're thinking. Because what's outside the box to you and what's outside the box to me might not be the same thing. I don't know what I don't quite know how to define what is outside of the box when it comes to barbecue meals. So
Yeah, because I don't think anything's outside the box. If it go on a grill, cook it.
yeah.
I've got some ideas.
Oh yeah. Okay. Tanya, I'm gonna get a tofu going as well. Did I give you that tofu press?
I have my tofu press back,
Yeah,
yes.
okay. So yeah, I want to do something. I need to experiment with tofu. Oh, that reminds me. I got something I want to show you guys because I need you to help me with something.
Tofu, cat food.
Joe, interestingly enough, John and I were just discussing something similar to this, but it wasn't wrapped in bacon. So you might see that soon.
Okay, guys. Uh, for those of you that know what this is, I need you to tell me what to do with it. I have this, and I was tasting this, trying to figure out what to do with it. And one of the first things that came to my mind is this would be something that would bring some flavor to some tofu.
Is that the Magi?
Maggie, yeah.
Yeah.
This 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 doesn't have MSG in it, but it's got that taste. You know what
Hmm.
I'm saying? I looked at the ingredients at what's in here, and it does not have. Oh no, it does not have MSG in it. So if you know what this is and have used this before, let me know how you're using this. Let me know what you're doing with it because I want to play with that. I want to figure out how to
Stocks and
work that.
sauces.
Cannon,
So,
you're
yeah,
exactly right here. It is like kitchen bouquet. I mean, you
Yep.
use it for sauces, making some gravy, some au
Yep.
jus.
but I've got it and I've never used it. I've spent some time tasting it, trying to figure out. And every time I taste that, the first thing that comes to my mind is Asian fast food. And
Mhm.
it's because it has that umami, that same sort of umami that comes from MSG.
John, that is good. What we used to do is use that along with equal parts of soy sauce and pineapple juice and make a marinade to, you know, the strip that's on your tenderloin, that you're not using
Yep.
on the tenderloin, that you're going to
Mhm.
turn into tips.
Right.
Marinate it in that. Oh my God, that's then put it on skewers. That's some good stuff.
Fran's asking if it's got fish in it. The ingredients are water, salt, wheat gluten, roasted wheat flour, less than 2% of sugar, caramel color, acetic acid, wheat bran, artificial flavor, disodium guanylate, disodium inosinate, dextrose.
But
Contains
there it
40
is.
ingredients. There's no fish in it. This doesn't have uh, anchovy in it, so it's not like Worcestershire, or it's not like fish sauce, and it doesn't have the same sort of umami that comes from anchovy either. It's different. It's this is a lot more pronounced
Mm.
than you get from anchovy. I keep an
So
I keep
we
fish.
use that a lot in sauces and soups and that.
Well, it might be, Scott. It might be fermented. I don't know how it's made. I don't. Uh, I don't have any idea how this is made, but Anurag said he's used it. What did he say? He used it in
Stir
his
fry.
stir fries. Okay,
Mhm.
uh, but this I got to also learn about using this, because this is something I think's got to be used very sparingly. This is something that would quickly take over a flavor. I think in a stir fry, you might use a tablespoon or two on a rock, maybe for a stir fry. It's probably not a whole lot. How
Yeah.
much?
Well, I like to put a little drop or two in my French onion soup.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can see where
I
that.
said it's very good for any of your beef stock soups. It's real good with that.
But this is
I
it's
have some in my
definitely something I
fridge.
want to play with. I like the flavor it has, and uh, I want to see if I can work that into something. But I'm
Scott,
thinking,
entirely different than soy
Yeah,
sauce.
it's not a soy sauce at
no,
all.
It doesn't have any soy in it.
mm-mm. It does. Get a bottle of this stuff, guys. It's cheap. It's not very expensive, and just put it on your finger and taste it. Uh, and when you taste that, you'll see that start your wheels will start spinning. What can I put that in? Because it tastes
Yeah.
good.
We used to put it in French onion soup.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can.
What's running through my mind is what I couldn't use it in. It seems like it would be a good background ingredient for so many different things. It's like I went through this one spell where I was putting fish sauce in everything, and anything where you would add salt, I was adding fish sauce, and uh, it really changed things for the better. I think it was a flavor improvement that you couldn't put your finger on, but you'd know it if it wasn't there.
Anurag also said it'd be great in shepherd's pie. Anurag, I want you to try something. In your shepherd's pie, take 3/4 of a cup of the G. Hughes steak sauce and 1/4 cup of the W sauce. Mix that together. Put that in your shepherd's pie.
Yeah.
Off the chain, buddy.
Anthony made a comment about ghee there. That's a good one. And in fact, Anthony, I discovered as I was cleaning out my cabinets today that I am out of ghee, so I do need to make another batch. So maybe maybe I'll make a quick video on making ghee. I've done that before. There's a video on the Man Cave Meals YouTube channel on how I make ghee. Uh, I think I get 2 pints of butter. I get 2 pints of ghee out of a pound of butter, or is it a pound? A pint? I think I get 2 pints, about 2 pints of ghee out of a pound of butter, uh, something like that. Or I don't remember what the ratio, what the yield is.
Don't think so. Not out of a pound.
I think it's a pint. I get a pint per pound.
That'd be more close.
I'm trying to remember the last time I made ghee. I'm trying to remember how much butter I used.
A
I
bunch.
don't remember if I made 2 pounds or not. I'll have to look at the video.
If you did 2 pounds, you'd get 2 pints, but you're not going to get 2 pints on 1 pound of butter
Yeah, the video would tell me the story for sure, because
unless you're watering it down.
yeah, no, I don't water it down. Uh, where's my search? There it is. Ghee. I've got a video how to make ghee clarified butter. So uh, I'll have to look, but yeah, I'll do something. We'll do something about ghee. I'll make some photographs when I make it. I just do mine on a rag until they're brown. You can. This is one of those processes that you can smell it as it's going. You have to watch it because if you let those milk solids go too far, you'll ruin the ghee. And see, that's the difference. That's the only difference between clarified butter and ghee. Clarified butter, you don't brown the milk solids, and
Yes,
ghee, you do
you
brown the
do.
milk solids, and that's uh, it's.
And that's where a lot of people mess up ghee is
I like to
they
let them
turn
get.
their back on it and that caramelization takes place and next thing you know you have brown butter. You don't have ghee.
Yeah, I like to get it dark, but not too dark. It starts smelling really nutty uh,
Yeah.
when uh, when it's right, and then that's when I take it off the heat. And I skim the top, but I don't start skimming the top until I've let the milk all the milk solids that are going to fall to the bottom, and by then it's not much skimming that's got to be done. The butter's clarified by that point, and it takes about an hour to an hour and 15 minutes max, start to finish, because you got to let the process go. You're essentially heating the butter, and you've got to boil all the water out of it to where there's no water content left in it. You can watch the temperature rise, and if you put a thermometer in it, once the temperature of your melted butter rises above 212, that's when you got to start watching things, because that's when things start moving quickly, but it won't get above 212 until all the water's boiled out of it. So yeah, we can do something about ghee. Ghee is one of my favorite cooking fats. It's it's stable at room temperature. There's nothing in it that'll spoil after you've taken all the milk solids out of it, and it's got a high smoke point. Smoke point's up around 500 degrees Fahrenheit, and the flavor you get from ghee is my favorite of the. Well, next to extra virgin olive oil, I think ghee is my favorite flavor profile, but it's a lot uh, more stable at higher temperatures than extra virgin olive oil. Extra virgin olive oil can't take the heat; it gets bitter. If you let extra virgin olive oil go to 500 degrees, it's horrible. It's yeah, you don't want to eat that. But avocado oil is something I'm learning to appreciate too. I've had some good
It's a good
experience with
oil.
avocado oil. It 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 has a flavor profile that I kind of like. I've pan seared some fish lately in avocado oil that came out really well. So yeah, good idea. I'll get some ghee going, and I'll make a photo essay of the ghee process again. It'd be about time to do that because, like I said, I'm out of ghee. I need to make more. I've also been feeding my sourdough starter because Anurag made some crackers out of uh, discard sourdough starter that I want to try. And I looked up a couple of recipes for that, and actually there's some on King. I think I found one on King Arthur that I might try. I want to try this. Those crackers look really good, and I want to see about doing some of that. So I've had my sourdough starter out, feeding it, trying to get it good and healthy again. It's ready. I've been feeding it every day for about a week now. So yeah, Hank's avocado oil. Yeah, avocado oil is good, but the oil you choose needs to complement it. The flavor you bring with the oil needs to match with whatever. There's some
Yeah.
oils that don't work well with some things, but I haven't found anything yet that I couldn't deal with ghee. Uh, ghee seems to work in every place I've ever used it. Not the same for olive oil. So, all right, guys, we're gonna wrap up here. I'm gonna call it a week. I've got to go work my real job this weekend, and I don't know. Y'all have a good one, and we'll talk to you Thursday night next week. We'll see you then.
Cool.